Well, it's time. I'm here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeff Blankenburg. And as we do most days, I am here to write a bunch of terrible code. No, that's not really true. But, uh, excuse me. I am here to talk about a bunch of cool stuff and build some things. And so, the thing that I'm really struggling with, the thing that I've been bothered by as I've been going through this, is that I've been building this casino, and I've been doing it in such a way that um, really had a lot of dependencies and really kind of made some assumptions as we were getting into things. So, as an example, the first time that I built this casino, it was completely tied to how you would interact with Twitch, but wasn't easily extracted to other. Ooh, something right here. Hey, Gold Zulu, welcome, welcome. Um, so I hadn't done a good job of extracting the casino logic. One of the other things that I struggle with, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to correct, is the back end stuff. Um, Part of me feels like maybe I should find some way to localize all of the back end, all of the logic and data and everything. But I feel like I'm going to end up in a world of flat files and nightmares. And I really like the way that Airtable manages a lot of this stuff for me. So I think I may leave that stuff in there. But I really want to get this thing to a point where I have a unified casino module that does just the casino stuff, and it does it the way it should, right? So I'm also going to refactor how I think about poker, for example. There was no reason except it was easy to do poker the way that I did it, where I um, basically made it a one-turn shot like a slot machine, right? You just get five cards and you win or lose. I think that I need to expand on that so that instead it's always a two-turn kind of thing. Hey, Kevin Evans, good morning. Video poker needs to be a two-turn thing, but the poker module, everything that's happening with poker should be handled as data. There shouldn't be any communication. There shouldn't be any language specific things in there. It should just let me know, like, oh, hey, they got three of a kind or whatever. And then, man, I have like a mark on my face. Maybe it's a pimple. I don't know. It's red right here. Uh, just let the developer that's using this module, which is probably just going to be me, know that, hey, they got three of a kind. Now go do whatever makes sense for three of a kind on the current platform you're building. And so ultimately, what I would expect is that there is a bot for Slack, there's a bot for Discord, there's a bot um, for Twitch, for any place else that I want to build it out, and it ultimately ends up being the same backend, the same data, the same users. Even if we never end up combining the users, you could have an account on Twitch, you could have an account on Slack. They may not ever be unified unless we do some kind of OAuth, which if we get to that point, we get to that point. But it would allow you to at least play all the games on all these different platforms. So that's kind of the thing that I've been struggling with. Another thing that I've been struggling with is figuring out a good way to turn on all the stuff behind me. Each time before I go on stream, I kind of have to go around and turn things on and open some apps and get everything set up. But I think I've built a routine that will do it for me now. So we're going to give that a try here live on air first. So, Alexa, start Office Nonsense. No. Alexa, Office Nonsense. Oh my gosh. It worked. I wasn't sure if that was going to work, but it worked. The big challenge for me was getting those light bars to be able to move at the same time. I didn't think that there was a way to do that with just voice, but I'm going to have to change the utterance there. But Office Nonsense, that's what I'm calling it. That's the routine. And you can see that not only do I have the Echo Glow now working, but I have these both beams. I have the black light, which is there. There's a black light over those guys. And this bulb is now doing crazy stuff too. Or is it? No, it isn't. No, I'll have to change that too. So anyway, that's something else that I've been playing around with. I'm still on the hunt for another one of these LifeX beams starter kits. That's what the long beams are here. I have one more shelf above that I'd really like to include, but they're expensive and they're sold out everywhere. And the people selling them on eBay are selling them for twice the price, and they were expensive to start with. So I'll have to hold off on that. But someone mentioned to me on Reddit, I think, that I should do LED lighting around the entire room, which isn't the worst idea I've ever heard. So that's something to consider as well. Is that like maybe up this corner, we could just do like a little strip of LEDs. I don't know. We've got this crazy nonsense happening behind me. We may as well go all in on it, right? But I'm really digging the blacklight, guys. Those have really turned out quite good. And I did find my way into the Spider-Man, which is the very expensive fifth one of that set. I found somebody that was willing to make a deal so that I can get the Spider-Man blacklight one also. So that'll be there eventually. But anyway, that's not the point of why we're here today. The point of why we're here today is to build some stuff. And so I want to show you where I'm at right now, which looks like this. And we can blow that up a little bit. Okay, so I'm trying to move some code over. And I'm building an entirely new setup, right? So if you look at this, I've moved a couple of things over. I have what was the old Chatsino code, which was kind of a weird hybrid that I just didn't want to lose it, so that's what's sitting in this archive. But I have an index file. It has nothing in it right now. But what I want to do is build out the modules themselves. So I have like slots. This is all the code that I wrote for the Alexa skill that is working. And I want to... or is it? It isn't. No, I'm using the wrong thing. Hold please. No, wait, I am using the right thing. This is from the Alexa thing, so no, I am using the right code. Okay, so if I look at my index for slots here, you can see that I have reels, and evaluator, and play, and position. So if we look at play, this is where we come in and we do some very simple logic, right? I have a play method. I check to make sure that what you provided as a wager is a valid wager. I make sure that what you provided is a position, which in the case of slots doesn't matter, but for other games like roulette, it certainly does. Roulette is going to be another thing that changes so that it's not a one position bet like we do with the chatbot here today. Speaking of which, I didn't start any of those. I'll just start up the casino because you guys seem to enjoy that one. So that's at least started. But this is kind of the logic and how this works, right? I have a cashier that's making sure that you're making bets that you're allowed to make, and you're making bets on positions that are valid, and then I go ahead and spin the in this case, the slot machine, and I get an outcome, and then I'm checking that outcome to see if it exists, and if it doesn't, so I passed undefined or something like that, then you lose. And if you lose, of course, I withdraw your money, and if you win, then I give you more money. But that's kind of the logic of this. And so I had written a series of tests, which we can see in the test folder. And if I look at this, you can see that I am looking at the slots folder, and then I have like, if I get 3 diamonds, it should return me an outcome that is 3 diamonds, which then includes like the odds and all the other stuff that goes along with that. So these are my tests for slots. And as I was running them, I was doing this right before we started here, I was getting an error that I wasn't expecting. Now I guess this is somewhat expected because I'm moving a bunch of code over, but the thing that I'm getting is that it wasn't able to find Airtable, or at least it wasn't able to find, if I look at this statement, if we go into slots and we look at evaluator, if we look at, what file is this failing in? data slash create ledger item. So right here, for some reason, it thinks that it can't find Airtable, and I don't really know why that is the case. But it seems to think that request is not defined, and I don't know what that means. I don't know why it would not be able to require something. Because if I look at slots.evaluator, the only thing that it's pulling in is the slots module. So it's not dependent on like the fact that my index file doesn't have anything or anything like that. So we'll have to dig into this a little bit. But if we look at create ledger item, this seems like, I mean, this is exactly the same code that I was using before, right? So I'm getting a promise out of Airtable. I do. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I don't have these, but I don't think so. Let's take a look at that. Do I have that in here? Where am I storing those values here? Data, slots. We probably have to go up to the top level. If I go look at the file that is in Git, chats, no. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. Chatsino. But if I look up here, I think there's a... Now, where am I keeping those values? Unless it's just not showing it to me in this view, which is also very possible. Let's go back here and look at GitHub, Chatsino, Alexa, Lambda. Yeah, see, there's a .env file. So I'm going to flip over to the camera just for a second because I need to get that file opened up and bring it over to my new one. Where's my code? Never mind the lawn mowing that's happening next to me. That'll be over hopefully soon. .env. Save that. I need to also make sure that it is excluded from going to GitHub. Is it already in my git ignore? Did I do a good job of writing a git ignore? I did. Awesome. Okay, so so that's all good. I think we're in a good place from that perspective. So let me close that, and now I don't have to open that file again. We can come back here. Let's try running the test again. I don't think that's the issue, but it's something that I would have run into eventually. Okay, so I really don't understand why it's balking at the reference to require on, if I go to my cashier, no, on my data create ledger item. Why is that the thing that's choking? If I look in my node modules folder, do I have Airtable in there? I do. What could be the problem here? Let's go look at taking that out of the flow then for a second. So if we look at slots, and we look at play, down here I have a win and a lose function, and cashier deposit and cashier withdraw. I think those are my ledger items. So if I look at deposit, I was looking to see if I had used Airtable anywhere else. But it looks like... Withdraw is doing the same thing, right? Create ledger item. That's the thing that it's balking on. Data.ledger item. What is this here? I guess this is a remnant. Don't really need need that. Deposit. I'm bringing data in there. Man, I don't understand why. Oh, I looked for the extension for this after your last stream. You can hide secrets on stream. Oh, that's. Oh, John Papa made that? That's pretty cool. Makes sense. He's a streamer. That's smart. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Scott. Okay. What? Why wouldn't Airtable? No, that's great, Sudoku. Welcome. Good morning. Guys, Sudoku's a good friend of mine. If you guys aren't following her or saying hey, she is a fantastic person to know. And you guys should all give her a warm welcome for the join this morning. She's also got 2 little boys, so the fact that she has a moment of free time to stop and watch me do a stream is crazy and ridiculous to me. But I'm glad that she's here. She's a wonderful person. Okay. So that's what you get for a stack trace, Sudoku. I don't know that I'm going to make anything of that necessarily. The issue that I'm having is... Oh, awesome. Summer camp. That sounds perfect. I have a friend who's thinking about sending his son to a military camp in Texas. Man, that's an extreme. Oh, Scott, you know Sudoku. I have no idea why it's complaining on the require. Great question. Let's take a look at what the internet thinks about this. So if I take reference error, request is not defined, and I'm going to say for require. Yeah, it's asking for request, but I don't understand. I'm not even using that. I don't understand why. I wonder if I have some module installed that I don't need. I don't think so. No, I mean, Goldulu, certainly we could try things, but I think I'm very confident in my syntax there. There shouldn't be any issue with that. I really don't know why that's an issue. This is not how I wanted to start my day, but welcome to Coding with Jeff. That's how it goes. Close that one. The file that is the culprit is this one. And my fear, I mean, well, I guess we could try this. Let's go to deposit. We'll just not care about setting up a ledger for right now, which is fine. Doesn't hurt anything. But by doing that, now I think I'm just going to move my error to a new place. But let's see if we get a similar experience. Well, that's very interesting. I have removed any references to the create ledger item. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know. I don't think I need it, but I mean, I'll try it. I don't know that that's necessarily my problem, though. Plus, request is, like, deprecated in junk. Hey, W. Giorgio, good morning. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, yeah, I could come in and add... It's also a capital R request, which is also weird to me. I'm not doing anything complex here. If I do that works. Yeah, I agree with you, Goldzu. It does look like Airtable is the issue, but I just don't know. Let's go look at the npm for. npm JS. Let's look at Airtable and just see if there's like a. What's the latest version? 0.9.0, and they updated it 2 days ago. I wonder if they broke something. So let's go look at their repository and see if we can find what's going on. If I type in request, and the file that was breaking for me is this lib abort. No, it's probably lib base. I don't really see. I don't really see what the issue might be. Line 8. Yeah. No, I'm not getting angry today. This is more dumb. Because I don't think this is something that I did. I mean, let's test that theory. If I come in here and I open up a terminal, no, new terminal, and I say npm run test. That's fine. The cashier one failed. The slots one passed, though. So there's something weird. This is 0.81. Interesting. What if I change that mine? What if I change this to 0.81 and get rid of the let's do npm uninstall Airtable. It looks like they just bumped the Airtable library, and I wonder if it's not liking something that I'm doing. I'm going to remove Airtable. There's a way to specify a version, right? When I want a node module. npm install with version number. Yeah, I think it's probably version. There we go, Sudoku, thank you. npm install Airtable at 0.8.1. No, I think that's perfect, Sudoku, thank you. So now let's try npm run test and see if it's a version issue. No, it's not a version issue. Well, it is not a version issue. So what file are we in here? Cannot find module dot, so data get user ID, get user by user ID. I don't think I need this. I think it's a versioning issue. It seems to have gotten past the Airtable issue. Now what? Oh, I didn't even see that. Because I don't even think I'm using that otherwise. It was something I was experimenting with, but I didn't take out. These tests should just work. Like, I have this all built and running. So now I'm just getting through like the setup. Now we're in what file? Get data by username. It's the same carryover. Yeah, I'm with you, Sarah. I do not enjoy dependency hell. Now we're at roulette position, and you're saying that cannot find root. I didn't ask you to. Oh, cashier. That is a valid position. This is interesting. I just found a conditional require statement that I hadn't caught. All right, cool. That's a good save. That'd have been bad later. Come on, green. Helper.js, that's fine. That one definitely does not exist, so we'll come over here and get that. That was one I was expecting to have to get. So let's come down here, create a new file called helper.js. I don't love this file anymore. I feel like I need to do something about it, but it works. Because I'm just kind of burying a collection of odds and ends in one file, and I don't like doing that. Look, we're green. That is so beautiful. Okay, so our test pass for slots. And so the thing that I now need to look at is that what it's returning is like 2 bells diamond or 3 grapes or whatever. Which if we look at our... by the way, we should have a small party for that. I feel like I need to do some sound effecting or something like that. All stuff that I really need to fix in my stream. But time for a little hydration maybe. So cheers to you, Sarah, and the rest of you that helped me there. I'm also now going to do the npm uninstall request, because I don't need that. Did I mean one of those? Yes, I did. 486. You know, I actually, the last time we streamed on Wednesday, I actually went down a follower. I had someone decide they didn't want to follow anymore, which is totally fine. If all of you decide to bail on me one day, I'll be the first to understand. I don't know how we're at 486 as it is. But I feel like this number 500 has been really, really quite tricky to get to. But I mean, honestly, to get to 500 followers, I've really only been doing this during the quarantine. So let's say since March 1st. So that's the third. So in 5 months, I'm gaining about 100 followers a month. That's fine. I can live with that. That feels pretty good. Would I love it to be more? Of course. I'd love for all of you to have more people to talk to. W. Giorgio, Gold Zulu, Kevin Evans. Scott's been here a bunch lately. It's nice to have Sudoku here with us for a little while this morning. Sometimes we have Karthik and a bunch of other folks, but it's nice to have people to talk to and to kind of be part of a community. And for those of you that I'll let Gold Zulu or somebody add it, but we also started a Discord for this group, and it's been good. It hasn't been crazy active. There aren't a ton of us, but if you're interested in talking with these folks when we're not streaming, jump in the Discord if you're not already there. It's been good conversations. It's an opportunity for people to share things and have a conversation when we're not on stream. So, okay, I feel good that slots is working because slots is the basic, right? But the thing that I need to look at now is that I don't want or do I not? Oh, W. Giorgio, thank you for the subscription. What a nice gesture. Thank you. We're returning the outcome. So let's look at what those look like. Slots, position. This is kind of what we get. We get a name. Sudoku just subscribed. My goodness. Wow. Sarah, you'll be happy to know, I think W. Giorgio knew this, but you'll be happy to know that the STIR scholarship that we started a couple of years ago is the benefactor of any money that this channel makes. And so you are helping contribute to women being helped into the technology community, which I think you're probably a big fan of. So that's there's some notes on it lower on my Twitch page, but yeah, that's a thing. Okay, so I feel like oh, you'll get the chatbot, W. Giorgio. Don't worry, man. You've been a big supporter and obviously a big winner. But yeah, we'll make it happen. Okay. The question that I have, Sarah, did you know there's a casino running here? I don't know if you knew there's a casino running here. But if you type !balance, you can see what your current balance is. And you can play games like poker and slots and roulette. And you'll see as W. Giorgio and Gold Zulu and Kevin Evans play along. I know, such a surprise, right? But I built a chatbot that does casino things, and that's actually what we're building right now is the core logic for that. And so I'm looking at the slot stuff right now. We've got all of our tests passing. But the thing I think I need to identify is that there needs to be a, speaking of conferences, there you go. I think I need a do I need a master game object? Yeah, I'm just going to write some notes. I think this will help me if I write it down. Whoa. Where did my laptop... Oh, no. I wasn't on power. I thought that I lost it. For some reason, it just logged me out, which is okay. So let's think about what our logic really is here. Stop it. For poker, actually, I have a to do, or I don't have a to do in here yet. So let's do that. TODO.MD. And this is going to be our master to do for the poker logic, so I'll have to move some things over. Jomo Code is here this morning. Boy, it's early for him. It is 7:36 his time, and he is here hanging out with us on the stream. Glad you guys are here. Good morning, Joe. So the thing that I wanted to think about really is... Thank you, Scott. We got a hype train incoming. I don't even know what that means, but we've got a hype train incoming. Is it just that we're getting subscribers all at once? You have a limited time to earn. I don't know what a hype train is, but let's do it. Sub, gift, or use bits to get to the next level. Is that for you guys or for me? I don't know things. I don't know what's going on. What is this thing that I'm seeing? Hype train. Oh, we get new emotes. I see. So what they're telling me is if I get one more subscriber, we'll get a bunch of new emotes for the channel. That's pretty cool. I can't do that myself, but if somebody's feeling like doing it. An anonymous cheerer just gave us 100. My goodness. Voice Tech Bot just subscribed. Boom, we just hit it. Hype train is activated. I don't know what that means. But thank you guys. This is very very generous and fun. So level 1 complete on the hype train, I think. I don't know. Now and we're already 33% of the way to level 2 hype train, whatever that is. So I'm guessing we would probably need 12 subscribers to get to that. I'm not asking for anyone to subscribe, but I do appreciate it. I'm going to get back to writing some code and some logic, but that was an exciting moment there. Thank you guys for the follows and the stream and the subscriptions. This is super cool. Okay, so stuff that how does a bot get a subscription, right? Well, you can give subscriptions to each other. So I think W. Giorgio just gifted a subscription to Voice Tech Bot. That's what happened. Okay. I feel like each time, I'm just going to write some words out. We're just going to think this through. Each time that a user, no, not user, a bot interacts with the Chatsino, they should be returned a consistent object, game object. Consistent game object that contains the important data necessary to make the next move. For example, a user decides to start this is not documentation so much, Stream for Charities. This is very much me trying to think without losing it. For example, a user decides to start a game of video poker. And this documentation will be out of date before we're done with this stream, I'm sure. For example, a user decides to start a game of video poker. Bot makes a call to start a game of poker, and a game object is returned with their opening hand. in addition to game status. So I need to say like this would be a status of like, well, I don't know what the statuses are yet, but like I would basically say like they haven't made their choice or they have made their choice or pre-draw or something like that. But I would guess a video poker game would have a draw, like pre-draw, post-draw, but post-draw is also completed. In addition to game status, coin balance, user ID. Like I think this is this kind of stuff that needs to come back in that game object, so that I'm letting them know exactly what's going on. Because I'm going to treat this like kind of like an API almost. Sudoku, it does not take Silverlight poker chips, but I don't know if I told you this. I found an entire box of them. Little backstory. I used to work for Microsoft many, many years ago in the era of things like Windows Phone and Silverlight and Windows 8 and Windows 7. Anyway, we were at an event. I think it was this one. This is Code Mash. And I decided to have a big poker tournament. We had like, I don't know, we probably had 80 or 100 people in it. And I brought these Silverlight poker chips that were prizes. And so they looked and acted and felt just like real poker chips. But they had the Silverlight logo on both sides, and like the URL to go like silverlight.net or whatever it was. And it was they were super cool. Anyway, I still had a box of them. Mind you, I probably did this in like 2009. Let's see, we got a new emote. Here's the new emote. And it looks like that. Choo-choo! So that's the Hype Chimp. We just got the Hype Chimp as an emote if you're looking to have another emoticon. And so everybody that's here right now is getting a bunch of new emotes. That's awesome. Anyway, so we had this poker tournament. I had this box of poker chips, and I could not decide what to do with them. I tried to put them on eBay. Nobody obviously wanted them, because why? And I eventually just threw them away. And I don't know that they're really... They're fun for nostalgia, and I think I probably still have one or two left, but I threw the box away. Anyway, that's what's going on there. So let's think, Jeff, about status. So I think what makes sense is for me to have a unified game object that tells the bot everything it needs to know. Man, it would be really handy actually if this handled everything, and then the bot itself didn't have to make Airtable calls and talk to the database and whatever. It was all self-contained. Boy, that would actually be pretty sweet. Okay, so I think we need this game object. I think that's going to have to be a thing that we use here. Okay, so that means we got to change some tests. So these can stay, because this is me testing the evaluator. But when I build my game tests, which is next, I need to be checking on a game object and checking the status of that game object. Okay, so I have this to do. I started writing some things down. It's not really a to-do list. This can go away. And let's close all of our files because we don't need any of these right now. We're in a good working state where our tests all pass, right? We didn't break anything. Whoop, that's not going to work. Didn't mean to do that. I wanted that. I just want to make sure that my tests are still in the state that I want them to be. And where am I writing all of that out? Oh, I guess because I only have the one test. This is writing that stuff out. Perfect. Okay. So my tests are all passing for slots. And now what I need to do is come into... We're going to do this the right way. Which this is called slots.evaluator.test. What I probably want is a... If I look at slots, I have a play. This thing... But I'm calling play in my tests, aren't I? Or am I calling the evaluator directly? Slots.evaluator is calling the evaluator directly. That's perfect. So what I need now is a new test file called slots.play.test.js. And this file is going to test and validate the play outcomes. The problem with this is that we're not going to be able to say, like, we don't care about outcomes, right? We don't care about what the outcome of the thing was. We want to make sure that we're getting a game object that has appropriate statuses and user IDs and all of that nonsense. So the first thing we need to do is, we'll call this play. What did I do over here? I called this slots when I was bringing in the whole slots thing. Yeah, I'll probably just do that. That's fine. Although, I don't know, it feels like I should just bring in the one file, right? I don't want to test anything but the thing that I'm testing. So if I say require /slots.play, this is really how it should work, right? What if I change the evaluator? Oh, because this is why, because I needed to check like positions and stuff like that. So the scope is actually greater than just evaluator, although that would be nice to do. So that's fine. I'll do it the right way. I'll bring in the whole module, and then if I need to use it or compare it to stuff, I can do that. Okay, so in here, let's grab some test syntax, which looks a little bit like this, and think about what we want our tests to be. Now, I mentioned I'm doing this the right way. This is not how you've seen me do a lot of my development before, but this is the right way. A lot of times I just like speed to action, speed to results, and tests can sometimes get in the way of that. But if I'm going to build this for real, if I'm going to build this in a way that really makes sense and confidently works, I should start with my tests and then write the code that, makes those tests execute properly. Okay, so my first test is, I don't even know what my first test is. Let's clean this out. I don't think that I need this. Well, maybe I do. If I do slots.play, what does play expect? Play expects a user. Ooh, so I have to have a user ID or an entire user object. That's okay, we can do that. If I look at play, what does user even really use? I really want to rethink my user object also. Maybe what we should do, if I'm doing this right, is we what is this? I never remember syntaxes for things that I don't do often enough. Just test syntax before all. Before each, and then there's like a before all, yeah. Okay. Did I do that in the slots one? No, but I did it in roulette or poker or something. Cashier. Before each. Yeah, I set up these like base mock objects to do some of this stuff. So I want to do the same thing over here for play, where I want to have let user equal some object. I don't actually know what a user object looks like yet because we're going to make this up. But I feel like there's a user ID, which will be some string. There's going to be a yeah, you like that, Sarah? This is emoji testing at its finest. It's also in the code, but I'm legitimately using these as strings as a way to evaluate all of my test conditions for the slot machine. It was just a fun thing that I tried, and then I realized it worked, and I was like, oh, well, then that's staying because this this is much more readable, right? This is much easier than me trying to come up with some kind of enumeration or something boring. I thought this was kind of fun. So yeah, so that's what it looks like. And it's not even just in my tests. If you look at the evaluator itself, I'm actually comparing the actual string of 3 emojis in a row, and then returning cases on that stuff. So it's definitely in there, and does some cool stuff. Anyway, glad you like. Okay, so I'm gonna need so for user. No, close this. Probably just want this to be ID. I like that better. And then a user has a balance, and that I feel like that's what I should be calling it. This is going to be some number. Well, let's go look at my database. Let's see what I have, because I have way too many things in my database. It's kind of gotten a little out of control. And we will have to refactor this at some point also. But you guys seem to enjoy the chat casino so much that I have a hard time justifying taking it down for any period of time, because I don't know when it'll be back. Look at that. Stream for Charities just won 15 coins on a pair of queens. So if we go to my user table, again, there's a ton of fields in here, and most of them are calculated, so don't cringe too much looking at this. Anything that has this little swirly icon here, Rich, this little swirly icon is a calculated field, so it's not like actual data. But so I have, see, like I called it currency, which was the wrong thing to call. Like I hate everything about this, honestly, because it was built as I went. But I'm in a normal user record, I'm going to have a balance, because I also have another field called available funds, and this is the number that you don't already have locked up in bets somehow, because bets can run over turns or potentially over hours. So if you started a roulette table and you made a bunch of bets, but you didn't actually spin the wheel, and then you're like, oh, I want to play a hand of poker, that should be okay, that should be allowed. But I can't let you wager any of the money that you have sitting on the roulette table over here. And it feels very jarring and weird to say, like, I'm sorry you can't play poker right now, you have money on the roulette table. I'd rather just say, go ahead and play poker. But by the way, you've got like 300 coins locked up on that roulette table. So that's kind of the approach that I've taken here, which is what available funds is versus currency. Your currency is the total number of coins you actually possess. Your available funds is how much you're actually able to use. So they would have a balance. I don't know that I really need anything else for right now. I just need to know what their balance is and what their... we got to be more specific here. So this is going to have to be record ID. We'll do them as caps. That's what I did in my database. Oh no, Stream for Charities, you lost your money. Here, we can do this. We can do this too. If I come over here and do give Stream for Charities. Speaking of Rich. And W. Georgia's being generous also. So now you got all sorts of money. Stream for Charities, check your balance. You should have 4,003, if I had to guess. Yeah. So, Stream for Charities, you get another coin every time that you post a message. The casino is here because it encourages people to participate in the chat. I was actually looking for a mechanism that would get people to come here and play and interact and engage in the chat. And it started as a simple chat bot, and then I realized I could build casino games because I know how to do that. And that's kind of how we landed here. And so now what we've realized is that we have a pretty cool opportunity to build a universal chatbot engine that runs on Slack, it runs on Twitch, it runs on Discord, it runs everywhere, right? And I'm rebuilding the back end of this specifically. I'm rewriting the back end of this specifically to be able to handle that scenario stream for charities. Because what I'm going to do is let people, like, the way the bot's going to work is if you are subscribed to my channel, my Twitch channel, the bot will automatically be available on your channel. And so anybody that is participating on your channel will be able to play in the casino also. It'll just attach itself because you're a subscriber of mine. And so I thought that might be a pretty cool way to not only grow my subscriber base and participation here on my channel, but also give people an opportunity. Yep, that's exactly right. Stream for Charity, software as a service via subscription. That is exactly what I'm going for. So I don't know that that follows all the Twitch rules. I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever, but it feels right. It feels cool. But there's a lot of work to be done because now I really need to clean this up and make sure that it's very usable and modular so that when I want to build it for Twitch, I can focus on just building the Twitch stuff. And when I want to build it for Slack, I can focus on just building the Slack stuff. But the logic is all basically there. It's just writing the chatbot parts of it. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're working on right now. So we have a record ID and a balance. I'm just going to leave it there. Maybe we need more. I don't know. But what we want to also do, and this was the thing that I went over here to look at, was the before all, I want to reset that object also so that I'm not breaking anything. So I have that user object, and before all, I'm going to set user to the same thing. We'll do it this way this time, just it's on one line. Don't think I haven't thought about it, Stream for Charities. We've got a lot of work to do before we get there. And I think before this becomes a real valid business, I need to talk with some lawyers about the legality of this. I mean, there's no way right now at all for anyone to be able to purchase coins in the game. So there's no way for anyone to gamble for real. And that's something that I want to be very conscious of because this is meant to be fun. It's meant to be a silly game that you can play and chat and whatever. But the moment it starts to become like, hey, you can buy more coins with money, like microtransaction kind of stuff, even if you can't win anything, I don't know. It just feels much shadier. I don't like that as much. Yes, W. Giorgio. It's the moment this becomes real, you get $1 per coin back. How does that sound? Okay, so I have, I'm now reinitializing. Yeah, I can totally see that, Stream for Charities. I get exactly what you're saying. So it's something to consider, but we got to get it working and get people trying to use it on their channel first, and then maybe we can have that conversation. So I wanted a record ID. I can use my own record ID maybe. Where am I? I'm in like the 400s, 483. There's my record ID. So we'll no, you know what? Let's just create a new one. Which actually it should do automatically anyway, but I don't want to create a ton of test users. So we'll create this one. It's called test user, and their balance is currently 0. Okay, so this will be the record ID for my test user. So the record ID goes there, and there, and now we have a rig to be able to pass a user in. So the first thing that Play should need is a user. The next thing I need is a wager, and this is just an amount. So we'll say that their wager is going to be 10. The game. What do you want for the game? Is this really just like... let's see. I go into index and I look at how I call, nope, not that one. Slots, play. I gotta go up a directory here. Let's do this. Close folder. I haven't. I just haven't started those bots, Kevin. My apologies. I can do that. New window. Come on, do it. CD GitHub Alexa chatbot nodebot.js. Is that right? There you go. Now it should work, Kevin. I just hadn't started the Alexa one. So if we come over here and now we open the right folder, open. We just need the whole Alexa Lambda. No, we're in the Lambda. We need. This is the whole thing? Okay. Whoa, let's get rid of that file. Okay, so the thing that we needed to do in here was look at when we are calling the game itself, which is this file. Go away. Play game intent, start game intent. I have a start game intent, and in here, this is where I actually call the things. And so you can see in here, like I'm already doing some things that I don't know that I necessarily want to do. So game is just a game type, resolved game name. So it's just the name of a game, like poker or slots or whatever. Okay, great. That's perfect. I don't. Do I really need that? I don't think I even need that. I think this was when I was doing things more universally. So we're not going to pass in game. We're going to look at play, and we have user, wager, and position. There's also no position for slots. So for slots, this is really, really simple. I have a result, which is that I am calling in, I'm getting a slot outcome, and then I expect there's a few things that we need to look at here. So if we're really looking at the slots game play here, this is just slots. I don't need to check about a valid position because there's no valid positions. You're just betting. This gets more complex with the other ones, but I don't need to check if it's a valid position, which means I don't need game and position. Perfect. So now we're spinning. And then, yeah, see, I started to build what I'm going to call a game object. That has, but I need to pass all the things. So let's think about what a game object looks like. A game object almost dropped my keyboard. Almost did it. There we go. Maybe. Okay. All right. How do I want to handle this? I'm going to have this game object. Let's just create one. So it would look like this, and in here I would have user, which is going to be its own object. I would have, well, that'll have the balance and stuff in there. Then we have state. That's going to have to just be a value. So probably an enumeration of some kind, but we'll make it a string for now. And then, so as I'm returning, this is what I'm getting back from the service when I call it from one of the chatbot things, right? So I will, it'll tell me back like, hey, here's your user with their new balance, all that information so that you can update your records. The state of the game, what state are they currently in? If there's an outcome, this will be an object. I guess we can think more about that. But as I think through this game object, this is where we want to start thinking about what our tests look like and how it's going to work. So my result that comes back is going to be an object that looks like this. So the first tests that I can write, user ID should match in on return. We're just going to make sure that those things come back the way we expect them to. So result.user.record ID to be user.record ID. So that's our first test. Let's see if we broke it. Certainly we broke it. What did we break? Cannot read property record ID of undefined. Well, yeah, of course. The test is going to fail because I haven't written any code yet. So play now needs to have this user be passed back through. So we need to return user. That might just be it. And we'll have to do that on both for winning and losing. And this is something else that I probably should reevaluate. So does my test pass now? That should be enough code to get that to pass. No. Cannot read record ID of undefined. Well, I have a user, I have a spin result. I don't see spin result is not something that I want in there. I'll have to pull that out. That's going to have to be more generic. What am I doing wrong here? W. Giorgio's generously given away 122,000 coins. Wow. I mean, it really feels like I'm passing in a thing that looks like this. I have a record ID and a balance. That's what I'm passing. On the way back, I get result. Let's just do this. I just want to see what I'm getting here. Oh, it should be noted. I didn't mention this to you guys. I haven't talked about it at all. There's a thing called the voice event today. No, none of these. Let's do voice event in Nashville. This. This is kind of it. Here we go. So this is a... Oh, registration's closed? Well, hopefully you guys got in. Click to enter. Anyway, I'll drop this link in the chat, maybe. Anyway, I am a guest at this event today at 2:15, 2:30 Eastern, somewhere in there. So I don't know if you can get in for free. I thought this was a free event, but maybe I'm incorrect about that. But come hang out. I'm going to talk about basically a bunch of skill ideas that people could be building for people in other industries, like realtors or mortgage brokers or dentists or all sorts of things. So we're going to talk about that for 20 minutes or so today at around 2:30 Eastern. So if you'd like to join me there, I don't do a good job of promoting all the other nonsense that I'm working on, but that would be a place to come find me. Okay, back to coding. So let's see what's going on with our result. What are we getting? What are we actually getting back? Why do they keep calling when it's labeled this on my phone? I mean, they've already clearly been blacklisted. Why would you keep calling? What a waste of money. Okay. I was looking at the thing that I wrote. I'm not getting anything back. Okay, let's take a look. Let's do this the right way. Take this, do that. And we'll go over here, we'll just take our fake object that I created. Right, this is how we build. You write only the code that is necessary to pass the test. User. I should always pass back what the wager is also. I don't need them maintaining states. Yeah, Gold Zulu, I don't have the sound list set up. The Jeff Blankenbot is not running right now. This will be something like completed. And then the outcome is something also we could do. Well, it's fine for now. But then I'm just going to return game. That should pass my tests. Take all the other craziness out. Still no? Still no. Result is empty. We're in slots play, and I'm doing slots play. I'm passing in a user object that has a record ID and a balance. But when I send it back through, it's not... Wonder why that is. Oh, I know why. That's why. That's why. I have an async function that I'm not awaiting. That's not everything, clearly, but it was something. Cannot use keyword await outside an async function. So we could do this. Ah, we passed. Hurrah, huzzah, right? Huzzah. Okay, so we have our first test passing. I can get rid of this console log nonsense. And now we are expecting the user ID that we pass in to be the user ID that we receive. Great. We're going to set these up for each of the three values that are kind of important here. So we'll do that for wager. Should match on return. And this will be wager to be wager. And that should also work. Awesome. So the wager that we passed in is there. The other stuff. These are going to be weird conditional tests because the next thing I was going to check is the balance, right? I have that user balance, and the balance should be, if they won, should equal wager plus balance. No, that's not true. But for a loss, it should definitely equal wager minus balance. But it's on a conditional loss, which I don't know how to do very well. Okay. So we have two tests where we're returning the right object, but the problem is that it's not really doing anything useful yet. So we're just returning the values that we've received. So let's start bumping these back one at a time. See what the issue is. So if it's a valid wager, then let's do it here. Return game. Still good. Okay. So then we should be able to take this. The reason I was mentioning the voice thing also, by the way, is I'm gonna have to end a little early today, probably 11:30, 11:40, because I need to go get prepped for that, and I have a large number of calls today, and so I want to make sure that I'm available for those as well. Okay, so my outcome now is good. I mean, this feels like it should work. So now I need to just look at my win and lose functions. These really feel like they should be fine. Are, Jomo, are you joking with me, or is there actually a really long meeting that I'm not aware of this afternoon? I don't have anything on my calendar. So if you're just joking, that's great. But my day is absolutely nuts today. I've got like three calls between this and the 2:30 call, the 2:30 thing, the voice event. So, yeah, and then it's the weekend. I know I'm going to end up writing a bunch of code this weekend because now I've got momentum. All right, so this feels like. I mean, I know there's a lot more complexity here, but this feels like it should work. It should pass my test now. And now it fails because I'm sorry, what? That wasn't an issue before. An API key is required to connect to Airtable. Well, I have an API key. It's in this little file right here. That's always worked before. Why is that not working now? Also, I guess I can bring these back. Okay, let's break this down a little bit more. Let's take the Airtable stuff out of it for a moment and just return game. Joe, I will tell you that I've been thinking a lot about the construction of a lot of the software that I write and how I just feel like I don't feel like we as an industry have done a very good job of making this accessible. I don't think that much of what I'm doing here is hard. I think that we've made it artificially hard sometimes. I actually am starting to believe that we can have AI writing software for us if we could just talk to it or communicate in a way that lets it understand, like, hey, these are the things I wanted to do. There's so much that could be easier. I mean, node development is something that is in many ways universal, right? I can write a node app for just about anything. But if I were to talk to my 16-year-old daughter or a 25-year-old that just got out of school with a history degree, how would I get them started writing this? Like, well, okay, well, you're going to need to install Node, and you're going to need to have an active knowledge of the command line. And, oh, by the way, you can't run it locally, so, like, oh, and you want to do local debugging, well, you're going to need to get something like ngrok, or like it just there's just layers on layers on layers on layers, and it just goes so deep that before you know it, you start explaining this to someone and they're like, I'm sorry, I have to do what? And I just don't think it needs to be that hard. Yeah, no, that makes a great point. Unit test as part of the starter template would make a ton of sense. I'm totally with you on that. I want to lower the friction for people to build common things. And as I look around at this stuff, like even for I mean, yesterday, Wednesday, I spent some time trying to build a Slack bot. I can't do local debugging on a Slack bot. Well, I can't do it because ngrok won't let me. I can't install ngrok on this laptop. This is just a cascading set of problems that are Jeff Blankenburg. I can't use ngrok on this machine for whatever reason. I think it's an old version of the OS. I'm scared to update to a new OS because this is my only working machine. My new laptop that I've had since November, which I still cannot connect to VPN, is now in the hands of IT, and they are re-imaging it and getting it to a state where maybe I'll actually be able to move to this new laptop. But even then, I think ngrok is probably going to be blocked because it's a corporate machine. So it just goes on and on and on. All this stuff that I have to fight and deal with and jump into. And like to build a Slack chatbot, there should just be a thing that I grab and it's like, oh, cool, now I can use this. But that just doesn't exist, and that's especially true with the Twitch API. I posted something on Twitter a couple days ago about that. It was so bad and so painful to use, and it made me not want to do it. And I feel like I mostly know what I'm doing, so to have, how do you get a beginner that wants to do that? My son's 12 and Twitch is like everything to him. How does he, when he wants to build something, figure it out? He's not going to. And that just seems dumb to me. This should be as accessible as possible. So my test passed there. So what if we do this one? This is where we start to get really complex. What can we get rid of in the win? Let's take this line out and this line out. Now it actually has to win, though. So I'll have to do it for both. Okay. This is about as dumb simple as we can get. It just has my function structure wrapped around it. Still failed. Okay. What are we doing wrong now? Go to the bottom, go to the top. Okay. Could not read property user of undefined. I'm sorry, what? What? Why would that be a problem? I'm up here. I'm returning. I'm going to need to await this stuff. I need to make some calls out. But what if I just get this and don't use it? Still failed. Expect result.wager. But wager came all the way through. Wagers here. Wagers here. Wagers here. I don't understand, and I gotta go. We're not getting an object back. Why aren't we getting an object back? We're returning up the chain. I'm returning here. I'm returning here. When I come up here, I am returning await. I'm returning the win. Let's get the awaits out of there just to... Oh, and I'm not returning on the lose. That's also probably part of my issue. Let's try this first. If you don't return the lose, you're going to get failures. Still failed. And now we have the... Okay, so now let's take these lines out again. This is what happens when you just grasp at straws. I should just start over. But I want to keep what I have here because I like it. Pass and pass. Okay. So I've got some work to do on my withdraw functions. But we're on our way. So I need to figure out why, like when I call cashier withdraw, don't even open it right now, Jeff, because you don't have time to work on it. What was the error? An API key is required to connect to Airtable. Gotcha. Great. Cool. All right. Well, we can play with that. That's just a matter of it not finding my .env file. I don't know why it's not finding it, but that's okay. If I flip over to the camera for a moment. Airtable API key, they are there. Okay. Well, I think that's going to be it for me today, only because I'm just stacked up. But this has been another fun day of figuring some things out, and I think we're in a really good place now. I think that I have a much better feel for how this is going to work and how we're going to be able to structure it, and what we need to return, and the tests that we need to write. I think all of that's going to be really good, and then we can do some cool things, platform by platform, that are featurey, right? So for Slack, I might be able to use images of the 5 cards that you draw. Oh my gosh, W. Giorgio, here we go. Oh man. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. This has been pretty cool. I think that we'll get ourselves to a state where we're returning this game object always, and then the interfaces for Slack or for Twitch or for Discord or whatever are really pretty simple, because then they're just consuming an object every single time and saying, oh, here's some more information, here's what you need to know. But the module itself is handling everything, and that's not how the bots that I've written so far are doing it. I mean, they're working, obviously. You guys are demonstrating that in the chat right here. But we need to figure out a way to make it so that it's kind of standalone. Okay. So with that, I am going to have to sign off for today. We'll be back here Monday. We'll keep working on this, and hopefully I'll have made a ton of progress over the weekend. So why did that work? Why didn't it give Joe money? Did I have an extra character in there that I didn't realize? Let's do that one more time. Thank you guys. This is always a lot of fun. Let's do give Joe Mo code. There we go. So I've got to go, but I will be back on Monday and we'll keep rolling. Who knows? I might even jump on this weekend and stream. I move a lot slower when I'm streaming because I explain a lot as I go, but I would really like to get this thing working. I have this whole other idea for an app that I want to work on, but I just have to learn, I don't know, Xcode and Swift and iOS. So that's for another time. But anyway, that's it for me today. And I will see you guys all again on Monday. Have a great weekend if I don't talk to you before then.